I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. God, oh! I've literally just finished Legend by Marie Lu. Now I'm absolutely amazed, shocked, in love. Oh my god, I am so in love with this book, and oh, I just have no words at the moment. I'm literally just so shocked with how amazing it was. I mean, I'd heard that it was absolutely brilliant from what other people had said in reviews that I've seen and reviews that I've read and just general recommendations, but I didn't think that it would be this good. I thought that it would generally be one of those really good books like Divergent, but it was 10 times better than Divergent, and it was anyways, let's go into a little bit more of a structured review. The story revolves around two people. You've got Day and June. Day is the most wanted criminal by the Republic, and June works for the Republic. Now, June's brother, Metius, was killed, and the main suspect is Day. As a fresh set of young eyes, June has been put onto the mission of the capturing of Day after he killed Metius, her brother, and because of the fact that he was her brother, she was put on it for an emotional tie. And when June and Day cross paths, June starts to realise that things aren't as they seem with the Republic, and they are actually being fed quite a few lies about what they thought was their perfect society. First of all, let's talk about the characters. The characters are absolutely fantastic, and I can honestly say that this is the first book that I've read in a long time when I actually felt for the characters. I actually felt as though I knew them, I felt as though I could sympathise with them, I felt as though I was there with them and could feel exactly the same emotions that they were feeling. They just seemed so real, and even some of the sub-characters like Day's friend Tess and Metius's friend Thomas, I felt as though even though they were sub-characters, they still had enough depth into their characters that you didn't just pass them off as any random character. You still felt as though they were part of the story, and you could still relate to them, and you could still see where they were coming from and their other motives for doing things. I thought that the relationship between June and Day was really nicely paced. Obviously, you get the initial attraction at first, which is quite stereotypical, but after that it isn't just a "oh my god, I'm so in love with you, oh my god, me too." No, it definitely wasn't anything like that. It was gradual. I hate romance in books. I can't stand it unless it is done well, and I thought that in this book Marie Lu definitely hit the spot with the romance bit, and throughout the story there was an element of mystery as such, in the way that you're trying to figure out who actually killed Metius. I didn't think that it was at all obvious who the culprit was, and I absolutely loved the way that the thought process of June was written. Now, June is actually the kind of person that thinks things through really meticulously. She goes through data and processes things, and she goes through different situations in her head because she's that kind of person, because she was working for the Republic and she was trained to be that kind of person. Now, I loved hearing her thoughts about what was actually going through her head, how she was deducting things, how she was figuring things out, and that made it really interesting to read, because when you read things through a meticulous person's point of view, you start to see things in that kind of way as well, and you're thinking, oh yeah, that does actually make sense. It does actually all add up, and it makes you think a lot more, and I love books that make you think, and this book definitely made me wonder what was actually happening and what the lies that were being told were about. And when we started to hear more about it, it started to make a lot of sense. Now, for twists and turns, this book was plentiful, and I can honest to God say that I have never been more shocked at every single twist and turn in this book. Everything that happened I was not predicting at all, and I'm not quite sure whether that was just me being totally focused in on the book and not thinking about what could happen, but everything that happened I was so shocked about. There were times when I was on the bus and I was reading this and something happened, I was like, oh my god, but I didn't obviously say oh my god on the bus or anything, I just kind of like went or something like that. But yeah, you know exactly what I mean. It was one of those moments when you just don't know what to do because you were not expecting that at all, and I can tell you one thing, that book was full of those kind of moments. I thought that this book was fast-paced, action-packed, and I literally did not want to put this book down. I have to work. I was on the bus reading this and I wanted to stay a few extra stops so I could read this. There were times when I was actually reading this walking home from work on my Kindle because I did not want to put it down. That was how good I thought this book was, and I just loved it. I know it's a popular belief, but this book was amazing and I cannot say anything else really. I have no other comments other than the fact that this book is amazing and you need to read it. You need to read it now. Seriously. If you guys have any different opinions, or if you guys hated it, or if you did love it, then I'd absolutely love to hear in the comments below because I really want to talk about this book. It was so good. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I'm seriously gonna go now. I'll speak to you later. Bye!